Okay, folks, well, welcome. Appreciate you everyone making the time today for this interactive virtual webinar. The topic for today is Expand Modern Work with Microsoft Project and Power Platform. My name is Scott Brown, and I am with a Microsoft partner, ProjectMade Easy. I'm also joined today by Sean Kim, Senior Project Specialist with Microsoft. We've got a few people joining late. We might have a little interruption there. We'll just fight through it and move forward. But we appreciate you making the time today, and hopefully you'll find this session valuable. We've got about an hour today to go through everything. So what we want to cover are the following topics. We're going to give you a little introduction to ourselves, ProjectMade Easy, and then I've got a presentation that Sean and I will both present that just kind of lays the foundation for the solution we're going to be demonstrating today, as well as kind of some of the features you'll see, and then the vision that Microsoft has for Project and Power Apps moving forward. Then we'll spend about 35 to 40 minutes in actual demonstration mode, and we'll go through and kind of show you the interactivity between Project and Power Platform. And then what we'll do is we'll break at the end with about 5 to 7 minutes for questions that we can answer. If you have questions, I've got microphones turned off right now. What we can do is we can enable you to send some information via chat as well, if you have that. And then we've got Jen on our team who will be facilitating interaction with us with respect to questions. So we will that's kind of how we'll facilitate everything moving forward. So let me do a little bit of housekeeping here. And there we go. All right, super. Very good. So that's kind of what we're going to cover today, kind of work through the agenda there. So let's kind of jump right in here and kind of get started with kind of a little bit about ourselves. Our group is called ProjectMade Easy. It's pretty straightforward what we're about. We really want to make using the Microsoft Project Stack easy for you as the end user and as the customer. So what we're looking to do is just make sure that you can get value out of a product that oftentimes you've already invested in. We've been around for right at 15 years. We were founded in 2007. We've got a record of great success. We try to make we find that if we keep things easy, we can keep our customers happy. So that's kind of our kind of modus operandi, as they say. We've got experience. We started out in Project, but that's naturally just sort of bled over into Power Platform, which we'll cover today, namely Power Apps, Power Automate, and then Power BI. We've delved into that, and we'll show you some of that as well. We've done almost rapidly approaching 300 implementations of anything from strictly a Power Platform play, Power BI, and then of course traditional Project and Project Online and Project Server in the on-premises world as well. We are a Microsoft partner, so we are gold certified in Microsoft's project and portfolio management discipline, as well as cloud productivity. So that incorporates things like Teams and Office 365. We've been a partner since 2009. We also hold a silver partner certification in application development and cloud platform. Our deployments, again, can be run the gamut. They can be small in nature. We've done deployments for 30 users, and we've done enhancements. We've gone back and sort of added some things, particularly around reporting and Power Platform, like process management and that type of thing. And then we've got some bigger clients as well. So we try to start small and just kind of help you get value from the solution that kind of meets the need, the felt need right at the time, and then but allow you to sort of expand, and we work with you in doing that. We try to be economical, both in effort from your all side, as well as from a cost and investment standpoint. We trained a lot too. We're a certified Microsoft trainer, so we do a lot of training. We've actually gone back to folks we've not deployed with, and done extensive training in project as well. We are a participant in the Small Business Administration's 8A program, and we've been a member of that since 2008. And as I mentioned before, we were founded in 2007. So we've been running for about 15 years. This is our obligatory NASCAR slide, as they say in the industry. So you can see some customers here you probably recognize, some Fortune 500 customers, and you probably see some that you don't recognize. And that's our approach. We end up kind of running the gamut there. We've got customers that are in obviously the commercial space, and we've also got some that are in the small regional, state, and local government space as well. And so we try to work with whoever has a need around project and portfolio management, and then really kind of working with them to kind of get them the right tool for the job, and to get value out of a solution, and really get value out of a solution that oftentimes there's a lot of customers that have, made an investment in Project Online, but have yet to deploy it or let it get up to speed. So Project brings a lot of value, and so we just want to try to help you realize that value. So let's talk a little bit about the solution overview. We're going to touch on some of the things that the solution brings to the table and what you're going to see during the demonstration. I'm going to turn it over to Sean and let him kind of take it from here and kind of give us a little insight into the Microsoft vision for Project. Sean?
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everyone. I'm going to spend quick intro for myself. I am a Microsoft project specialist with Microsoft. I've been with the company about 14 years now. All working in the project space. So I have a lot of background experience in project and work management. I just want to spend a few minutes talking about our Microsoft vision for work management and project management. So Scott, please, if you go to the next slide.
There you go.
So, here we go. Thank you. So Microsoft has a mission statement, right, which is to empower everyone and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And within that mission statement, we have the project product team within Microsoft has our own subset of that. So we have our own vision for work management and project management. And that's what you see on the left. Teams work the way they want, enterprises get the results they need. And what we really mean by that is that there are different aspects of teams and projects within an organization that we believe requires different requirements or different levels of capabilities within the tool set to help you execute and achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve with that project or with that team. But at the same time, at an enterprise level, there are enterprise requirements as well, right? You need the big picture. You need visibility and transparency across the enterprise. You need security and you need compliance, and you need a platform that you can build on, that you can trust, so that you don't have to worry about some of those back end things and you can focus on what you want to focus on. So that's sort of what the meaning of that is. Now, I'll talk a little bit about how we got there or how we came to that vision. But part of it is we want to empower companies, as you see on the right, to achieve better results, aligning investments in projects and resources, right? It's not enough just to execute projects and finish projects on time and under budget, right? That's great, but you also need to be doing the right projects. As an example, there was a case back in the day where an Olympic archer hit the target right in the middle of the bullseye, but they still lost. And the reason being that he actually ended up hitting the wrong target to start with. So just because you hit the target, meaning you execute, properly, doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. So it also matters what strategy or what the things that you are aiming to do matter. And we also want to make sure that your resources and your projects are aligned to that strategy as well. If you want to do something like customer success, but you're not focusing on that, and you're spending your budget on something else, that doesn't really give you the best alignment, doesn't give you the best use of your budget and time. Also, agility and flexibility, again, that's very important for our tools. We're finding that more and more customers need flexible tools that can do different things for different requirements. And of course, collaboration is huge. Our first version of Project was released back in 1984, I believe. And of course, collaboration has always been important, but it's not nearly as important as it is now. We need collaboration and communication globally, internally, externally, with your external stakeholders and customers as well. So that all needs to be part of the platform. And speaking of the platform, you need a trusted platform. You need a platform that you can trust, that is secure, that gives you the compliance that you need, especially in regulated industries. So this is all sort of what we're aiming at. Now, Scott, can you go to the next slide, please? So these are some of the issues that we're seeing in the market today, and these are just based on customer feedback. And of course, there's much more than just these 5 items, but this is the high-level items that we can speak to. First one being that work is happening everywhere all the time, and we end up losing track. What we mean by that is there's different pockets of populations or different pockets of users that are using different tools because they believe that's the best tool to get their work done, which is fine. At the same time, you miss out on the big picture, especially when those things are not integrated together. When you have different platforms working not together but against each other, it doesn't give you the big picture that you need from an enterprise perspective that you need to make better decisions. Teams choosing their own tools to work the way they want. There's different methodologies in work management, project management. There's, of course, traditional waterfall. There's agile. There's Wagile. There's all kinds of different hybrid methodologies in between. You really need a tool that caters to the processes that you need, right? Not necessarily cater your processes to the tool and the limitations of the tool. By doing that, you can get more work done. Our millennial workforce, and that's the bulk of our workforce these days, we expect different things from our tools now, right? The expectations are we want something more modern, more easier to understand, more intuitive, something that doesn't require training to get started, right? That way you can deliver quicker and get value out of your tools quicker. Of course, our business process, cut across functions and systems. There's every organization has their own processes, right? And it's unique to every organization. You need a platform, you need applications, you need a solution that can cater towards that, not the other way around. And I mentioned this earlier, right? Compliance and security is very, very important for our customers. Any sort of security breach can cost you millions, even billions of dollars of loss. You don't want to worry about that. You want to focus on what you do best, which is innovating for your business, and let a platform company like Microsoft take care of the security and compliance and the scalability issues. Scott, next slide, please. And speaking of which, these are some of the solutions that we have in the work management and project management space. So I mentioned earlier, we don't really believe in one solution that does everything, right? As an example, a few years ago, I posted something on LinkedIn. It was basically a project schedule for setting up your Thanksgiving dinner using Microsoft Project. And I thought that was a fun way to say Happy Thanksgiving to everyone on all my connections. At the same time, at some of the feedback that you could expect is that, wow, that's a bit too much, right? You really need a Microsoft project to create a turkey dinner sort of project schedule. And that's exactly the point, is that that's probably not the best tool for something like that. Maybe you need something lighter weight, like a planner, to do a turkey dinner. At the same time, the other extreme, we've had customers that that try to do more complex things, like building a rocket using something less than the Microsoft project, which doesn't give you the best results because you don't have all of the capabilities that you need to track that kind of schedule correctly. So we do have a different span of products here, from To-Do to Planner to Project for the Web and Project Online and Dynamics Project Operations. They're all catered for different things and different groups and different types of projects. At the same time, when I talk about enterprises getting the visibility right across the enterprise, and make it easier for our users to get access to the capabilities that they're looking to get access to, you can do all of this, right? Whether it's To-Do, a Planner, Project for the Web, Project Online Operations, all of that has a Teams interface as well. So the idea is that let's not make the users worry about what they're using or what they have to use. Whatever's getting used in the backend, from a user perspective, from a usability perspective, you're just working in Teams. And within Teams, you can get to your tasks no matter where they live. You can get to your projects no matter where it is, and it's still part of the same Microsoft platform. So it's all integrated. And Scott will go into this further in more detail in a bit. But yeah, a lot of this is built on the Microsoft Power Platform, which leverages Power BI and Power Automate and Power Apps. We'll talk about what those things are and what they're useful for. But the idea is that it's very, very easy to extend these things to fit the requirements of your business and still have it all integrated within the Microsoft Cloud. So with that, I will pass it back to Scott.
Very good. Thank you for that, Sean. Appreciate it. Yeah, just a couple of points here to kind of point out around kind of what we see the value is, and when we're talking to customers, what we see in the marketplace today. And Sean touched on some of these. One of the things is project management is becoming kind of a collateral duty. So it's one of the hats that folks are wearing now in organizations. So it's not their full-time job. And so there needs to be a tool that's kind of easy to figure out and kind of easy to adapt to. So the UI, UX experience with Project just allows users to kind of get started quickly. As Sean mentioned, kind of the younger workforce, they're used to the mobile phone app. You kind of download it, kind of tinker around with it, and boom, you're off to the races. You're getting value out of it, and it allows you to get some work done pretty quickly without having to go through a 4-hour training class and the like. Form and function, it provides the right amount of governance without being unusable. So a lot of times we see tools that are just, wow, pretty heavy, pretty burdensome, kind of keep everybody right down the middle of the road, but really kind of almost unusable. So we like to kind of think of it as more of if you've taken a group of little kids to a birthday party at a bowling alley, put the bumpers up. Let the tool be a bumper. You still got to figure out your process to roll the ball down to hit the pins, but let the bumpers do their job and let you know when you're kind of banging up against the edges of your process. Creative solutions. So we're going to show you some creative things we've done. You can really kind of leverage Power Apps and Power Platform to be creative, and the flexibility of Project enables that. Sean touched on and collaboration. I won't go back into that again. He also mentioned the Microsoft Cloud. Just the power of the Microsoft Cloud, knowing you're in good hands from a security and a compliance perspective, is just really helpful. So around the Power Apps idea is, what we find is when we talk to customers, their team is going to mature from a process standpoint, and now your solution can follow you that way, as opposed to having to implement a solution that's just really big and got all these great capabilities, but really you see yourself, you aspire to use those capabilities, but you really aren't there yet. So you can really kind of grow and let the tool kind of grow with you there. Also, with Power Platform, we really kind of get see the old mantra that says a good solution applied with vigor now is better than a perfect solution applied 10 minutes later, meaning it's okay to have a tool that's good enough. We've got things to do. We've got costs to manage. And while it would be nice to have the latest and greatest with all the bells and whistles, it's really okay to find something that just really helps you navigate your process well and get your work delivered. And so Power Platform can enable that as well. And then no more swivel chair solutions. So that's a phrase I borrowed from a customer we talked to once, just talking about the world that often we're living in. And Sean alluded to this a little bit. We've got some of these tools that folks are just using because, hey, I kind of know Excel. I know how it works. I know what it's doing for me. I know what it's not doing for me. That's where I do my day-to-day work. Oh, by the way, it's Friday. I've got to get the official tool up to date. And literally this customer said, it's almost like you have to swivel to another desktop or laptop and enter the data over there. And what we find is that data from the living and breathing working day-to-day tool doesn't quite all make it over to the official one of record. So we can keep those together. You get a much richer data that your executives can make decisions on, and you as a team can leverage. Organic growth, again, you can light up capabilities as you're ready for them, not the other way around. And then you can just really kind of get creative about how you do some things. And we'll show you something we've done there with regard to that in Power Platform. And then lastly, just to kind of reiterate that, a lot of times what we'll show you today is available in some third-party apps, but know that when you build it in Power Platform, that's under the umbrella of Office 365. So the data is in your Microsoft Cloud, not some third-party vendor's Microsoft Cloud. So anything we deploy, that's in our customer's cloud, and it's not going to sit in our and allow for transactions and that type of thing. So something to keep in mind. So here's what we're going to see. We're going to see project and power platform working together. We'll just show you the basic blocking and tackling of project management, resource management, task management. And then we'll use Power Platform to kind of extend the capability around project initiation, governance, business case development, prioritization we talked about, and dashboards. So with that, let's hop over to our solution and jump into the demo. So what you're looking at here is what we call our Idea Hub. This is really imagine, if you will, it's the funnel for you as a project management organization to kind of begin to gather either ideas or new project initiatives that your organization is working on. Oftentimes, these take a lot of precedence in the run-up to annual planning, like if you're planning your budget for the next cycle, next cycle as well. This is built in Power Platform. Very flexible. We've just got a few features in here we'll show you. One, we can kind of sort through the different approved projects, any that have been rejected, pending, or in draft. We can also look and create new entries here. I could just click on that. I'm going to use the cooking show method, as they say, and actually go to one I've sort of pre-built here just to kind of give you a look of what's in there. So in this, we've got a basic form that kind of asks for the title of the idea, a potential start date, who the owner might be, the sponsors, stakeholders, and department. We flag those fields that are necessary and the bare minimum to move it to the next level. And you can see here we've kind of got a description of what the project is, justification for it, and then kind of what the scope is, and a preliminary budget. We have also got some resource information here. A lot of times we talk to customers and they want to start kind of the resource conversation early in the process. You don't have to do that. We don't have to have that in here, but it's a way for a customer to potentially leverage the tool just to begin to kind of get a high level view of what type of resources might be necessary. So I can go in here and add, say, a tester and say I might need them for about 3 months. At about 10%, we might need them. I can add that in and save that off. Now, I have a couple options. I can reset the whole form. That didn't go well. I want to reset it. Or I can actually submit it for approval, which is what I will do. I will submit this for approval. It'll change its status from draft into pending. And you can see it right here. It's moved over to pending. A couple things you might notice over here on the left while we're letting this kind of process here is you see the different icons here. So once we make a decision with regard to how we're going to manage this potential project, we actually send it into various tools. So if it's got this icon there, it's going to be managed in Project for the Web. And if it's got this icon here, it's going to be more in the EPM tool, Project Online. And you'll see that here shortly. On the back end of this, we've got some notifications. So you can see a couple things here. Now I'm dual hatted in this demonstration. So I'm actually playing the role here as the submitter. Hey, Scott, your idea has been successfully submitted and has currently been sent over for approval. So you give that notification to the team there, let them know that, hey, your idea is submitted. You get a little feedback. Something to consider too is this is a great way to enhance employee engagement. So just to let people kind of participate in the annual planning process on a broader spectrum. As an approver, I also get a notification. So here I've got some high-level data associated with the project proposal, and I can actually extend a link here to go in and actually approve that idea. So I'm going to click here, and that's going to move me back into the Idea Hub. But now, as an approver, I'm seeing a little bit different view. So here you can see all the data that we showed you before around the Idea Hub and kind of the high-level metadata. You can see the resources I asked for. There's that tester I asked for another 3 months. And then I can go into the approval info. And this is a super simple form, maybe too simple, but I can say, hey, looks good. And then I can approve it. And when I go to approve it, I've got a couple things here. I can choose the project type that I want to use that. Now, imagine, if you will, you could make these project types by department. You can say, well, this is a marketing project. This is a new product development type of project. This is an IT project or an engineering project. So when you do that, you can actually tie that project type to the appropriate tool that you want to manage it in. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to say, send it to Project for the Web, and I'm going to click Approve. So when I do that, I will actually get a notification as the submitter that the project's been approved over here in my email eventually. And I'll also note that the tool will update here shortly and show that it's been approved and it's moving over to our next role. And you can see it there. Note that it added the icon. The mobile Pan Am in-flight entertainment app now has an icon by it, and it is indeed approved. So project's approved, big deal. Where does it go? Well, we've built another Power App to kind of grab those and allow you as a project management organization to begin to vet these ideas, add more details and resource amount. And that brings us to what we call the accelerator. So here is our home dashboard for the Microsoft Accelerator. This is built on Power Apps as well. And what it allows you to do is aggregate projects managed in Project for the Web and begin to report out on those from a global program and portfolio management basis. So you can see here, I've got some high-level data regarding my project request. I've got some things around the active programs and kind of how many new programs and projects are associated with that. An overall idea of program health, are we on track or not? This is pretty informative too of all the project requests over here. Kind of gives me an idea of what's the budget looking like here. It looks like maybe cloud, the cloud program is going to be pretty intensive, as well as the maintenance one as well. You can see our budget unit budget, or a business unit budget here as well in this pie chart, as well as projects by business unit from account, just to kind of give you an idea of kind of what are the activities you can kind of check that against what it is you are, where you're spending money. Is that indeed where we said we would spend money? So now let's look at the project request. So now we're inside of the project management solution, and now we're more in the role of, hey, we're the project management organization, and we're actually starting to kind of build out these project requests. So when I bring this over here, you can see here is our new project that came across. This is the mobile Pan Am in flight. We've got the oil tanker bladder waiting more approval here. So I can go into this project here and open that up. Click that. There we go. So you can see a couple things here. I've got a few things that I can add to. I can decide what the project type is. It's the cloud computing. I'm going to say that's what that is, although actually it's not. Let's say that is an app dev. So we'll call that an app dev one. It's a pretty high priority for us. Now we can look at some prioritization, really super simple, and we can just kind of grade this project around strategic alignment, whether or not it lowers cost, whether or not it has an impact on employee engagement, and then what the risk is associated with that project. I can also go in here and say, hey, what's the benefit of this? Well, we spend this money on this, we might increase, flight revenues by, I don't know, maybe $1 million. So we can put that in here, and then the tool will actually go out once I save it and calculate that ROI and also give us a prioritization score. We also have the narrative around the details that were associated with it when it was over in the Idea Hub. So we bring that over. Some folks like to bring all of it over. Some folks like to just bring some of it over. We brought it all over here. So we're going to save that. And what we're going to do is I'm actually going to promote that to approved. So what happens when it's approved and I save it and close it? A couple things will happen. One, it just disappeared from our in review list. So now a flow is working on the back end through Power Automate that is actually moving that and allowing your process to kick off on the back end to bring the project in to be considered and further build out the use case. While we're waiting for that to kick off, and we manage these flows really kind of to bridge the gap between how quickly do you need it, and we don't want to have everything kind of happening at once. Because if you do a lot of changes, remember, you've got this disseminated to the entire organization, you can kind of cause some things to bog down. So we manage it that way. We've kind of sped it up a little bit for this demonstration here. While we're waiting on that, we've got the program dashboard here, really super simple. Again, good enough is okay. A reasonable, good solution now is better than a perfect solution 10 minutes from now. And that's what this is, gives us a kind of idea of how many projects we have going, how many are on track, how many are at risk. Gives you an idea of what the projects are in the actual program. So you can see a list here. You can get an idea of the description of the business case of the actual program. You can see the financials for the program, aggregating all the budgets of the projects in it. And then you can look at the actual projects that are in flight there, and it gives you a status of those as well. So that's the program tab. We go over here to the projects tab. And there we go. There is our mobile in-flight entertainment app for Pan Am. So let's take a look at this and what else this brings to the table. So now we're in the general view here. We've got a couple things that are happening. We've got a few more items we can add to that. We can add the program we want to bring it part of. We can add it to our whichever business unit we want to bring it into. I can add a manager, like maybe the manager of that business unit if I want. I can look over here at potential start dates if I want to add those as well. I get a business case, so we can build out that business case. Now, if you remember, we ranked this project and its impact against those drivers over there, the strategic alignment all the way through risk. And we can look at that. And this is a time, maybe you've got a steering committee in your organization that sort of looks at these and says, hey, let's tweak this and let's validate this as you're kind of considering a potential portfolio that you're going to go work on. So you might want to make a change here and there and talk about how maybe this is more low risk than it was. You've got a description, and I can add a value statement here, better customer experience or something like that. So I can add that here. If I can spell, and I cannot spell. All right, it's good to be an engineer. I like it. Let's just do that. And spell check works like that. So we add that in as well. We've got that there. Financials, I can go in here. You can see it calculated my ROI. I can look at maybe a forecasted budget if I wanted to put something in here and say, yeah, let's put down maybe a current forecast. Actual cost thus far is maybe that much. And I can get some information there. Funding is available. Maybe I can flag that, and then I can save that. I can also look in here to what we call project allocation. And this is where that high-level resource allocation came across from the Idea Hub. So you can see I've got my tester and my developer and my program manager that's come across here. Again, allows you as a project management organization and maybe the PMO to kind of get a high level of how you're going to build out this project here. The other thing I can do is I can actually take a look at the task associated with it, but I don't have any task yet, but I'll actually build that out. So the task is actually going to launch into Project for the Web, which is what we designated as being the tool we're going to use it. Now, right now that's blank, and that's fine. And I'll show you one we've already got along the way. One of the things I can do here is I can actually start adding real resources to it. So I'm going to add Ariel here, and I'm going to have her work for a duration of the project from maybe up until the fall, just to kind of get us started. Let's say October, and I'm going to have 5% of her time there, and I'm going to add her in. What this is doing on the back end, it's going to add Ariel as an actual named resource. And then what I'm going to show you is you actually have a group associated with a project as you build one out. I'm going to skip that part and actually go into one that's already kind of halfway built to kind of show you how that works. So if we go over here to this project that's sort of already in flight and we look at task. So again, for task, that's your project plan. And so here you can see that we've got a project plan already in flight. And this is a very simple project plan. And over here, we have group members. So I haven't added Ariel to the group over here, but I'm going to do that real quick and show you how that works. So I'm going to go into project allocation for this project. I'm going to add Ariel again here, just so you can see it working. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to just put it in July. And let's say 7, because 7 is kind of fun to see what it does. We'll add Ariel. And so if you notice the task over here, we have 13 members. And once that's completed, we'll actually have Ariel be a member of that once the flow runs in the background. So Ariel's been added to that. And then as we update this project, we should see 14 over there. And we'll jump back in here. Oh, she's coming any minute. I know it's happening. It's going to happen. So let's talk about Project for the Web real quick. So this is a very simple tool. I'm going to add some tasks here. Very easy to do. I'm going to add, report and evaluate as potential task here. I'm free-form typing into these, much like an Excel spreadsheet. I can go in here and add some details around it. I can choose a start date. Let's choose Monday. I can change the duration just by typing it in. if I want, and then I can add a % complete by just iterating it if I want to. So when I iterate it in this box, it goes by 25%, and you can see that just updated in the grid view. There's 3 views associated here. I can also go in here and change it by changing the start date here to Monday as well, and I can just type in a % complete. So let's use 17%, and I can add that in there as well. And then I can see a bucket. Now I've created these buckets ahead of time, and they show up over here. I can add these columns with different types of effort and finish and that type of thing. I've added the bucket column. I've also added a depends on column, and I've added a % complete. Now, let's talk about dependencies. I can add a dependency here, like for monitor. I can go in here and actually just type the number of the task I want it to be dependent on. So I'm going to say that's dependent on task 6. I'm literally going to type a 6 in here and just add that there, and that creates that dependency. I can also do it another way, which I'll show you here shortly. A couple other things you get a quick look view. This is telling me there's an attachment associated with this task. This tells me there's a note associated with the task up here. And note also it's been added to a tag here, a label. Microsoft is aggressively iterating this solution. So the tag you see there, that wasn't in our tenant probably 4 weeks ago. So Microsoft has just rolled that out. A lot of the great features in Planner are now being rolled over in the project, just to kind of give that light touch, look and feel, but a great way to organize your thoughts there. Another aspect of it is the checklist here. You can see this task called review. I've got 3 checklist items. Note that it's at 25%. If I check off another checklist item, say review is actually done, note that it changes the iteration. 2 of 3 are done, but it does not change the % complete. It is not a subtask. It's strictly a checklist item for you to manage inside the task. Now that said, if I want to, I could promote this to a task, which is what I will do. I'll go ahead and promote that to a task, and there it is. It's right there, and it's a task, and I'm going to say that that item is dependent on, and this is another way to add a dependency. I'm just going to say add a dependency, and I'm going to say it is dependent upon review. And there you can see that it is dependent upon review. Close that real quick. Right there. So we got that dependency. Let's look over at the board view. Board view is really powerful. This is the bucket view of that. You've got your filters over here on the right. So I can look at assigned to. Who are all the resources I've assigned? Here's some I haven't assigned. Checklist, I'm going to go ahead and assign that to Courtney. Report, I'm going to assign that to Gaurav. That will quickly update that as well. I can look at another view called the progress view. This is very simple, may look very familiar to you from a planner perspective. This is kind of how that works. Note that anything that has progress shows up in this middle view here. Notice it's varying. You can see the 25s are what I iterated inside the project detail. The ones that aren't 25 are ones I typed. If I just move and just drag it over, it uses the planner mode where it just adds it to 50%. So 0, 50, and 100. And let's just say for the sake of argument that plan is actually done. I'll drag that over. Note it crosses it out and denotes it being done. The grid view will actually show that here as well. Let's look at the timeline view. So this is the traditional Gantt view that you're used to seeing in project, and you can see it at work here as well. So a couple things here. Note I've got finish to start. Right now the tool supports finish to start only. It doesn't quite have those other features, but those are roadmap items inside of project, and I think we got a question on that as well. That is coming to a theater near you, as they say often when they roll out the summer movies. So those are features that are coming, and honestly, Microsoft is bringing those out pretty quick. I can go ahead and add some to these other ones here by just dragging and connecting them. Note that if, let me do this, I'm gonna go into evaluate, and I'm gonna make that 0% complete. Let's just say for the sake I mishandled that. So I'm going to make that 0% complete and show you how that behaves. Notice when I drag it to one we've already started, it's not going to move the task, but we've already started working on it. But when I drag it to one that hasn't started, it will actually move it. I promise you. There it goes. It'll move it. So again, you get a nice Gantt view here. This is limited right now to about 500 lines of task associated with that. Some other things that are coming, there's a filter view here. I can look at critical path. I think this might have a critical, but there we go. There it is. One time I did it and everything was critical. There's the critical path pointed out to you. Another roadmap item is baselines are on their way as well. So again, Microsoft is iterating this kind of as you go. Let's take a look now, because that kind of completes that. So remember, project allocation, we sort of top-down plan what our resources are. I was able to add a resource as well. Looks like Errol didn't show up. We may have to call in and find out what's going on with that. That will add it to the group associated with that as well. We've got our tasks. We've built out our tasks. So let's go look at some more aspect of these tabs over here that give you that kind of high-level project and portfolio management leveraging Power Apps. So here we've got another, this is sort of our other pre-baked solution here. This is the Bay Plaza. Risk and issues. This is extended. We've created this on top of Project for the Web. That's not found in Project for Web, but again, that using the Power Apps to kind of bridge the gap, if you will, we've added a list of issues and risk here. Very simple. We've got a name, we've got an assignment, if it's active or not, kind of what the category is, and then a level of exposure, both from a severity standpoint and also from cost. We can also look at issues. Something to consider in this, when we're adding these items into this Power App, this allows you to report out on it, and I'll show you that in just a second. We've also got historical status. This is something we've been getting requests for this. Oftentimes the status in project is just kind of the status it is today. Hey, what was it last week? I don't know. Well, now you can kind of keep a history of that and kind of get an idea of like, hey, great job. You know, we were red on scope health, like we reined in that scope and looked like we're getting a little issues there. But you can kind of get an idea of like, you know, oftentimes as a project manager, you've probably been going, hey, how did we get here? How did this thing get off track all of a sudden? So it just kind of gives you a way to kind of quickly assess kind of the trends associated with that. We can also just make a new weekly status and use it as a similar type thing. We can call this the demo weekly status, and we'll just say the date is today, and I can just quickly assess that, and I'll make it real colorful for us and give it there, and just I can type some comments if I want, and I can talk about what I did last week and what was planned this week, and then I can save and close that off, and then that'll show up as at the top row there. So real quick, so again, what's my, what kind of status you want? And I'll give you an anecdotal story. We had a project, a customer wanted to use Project Online, loved the aspirational aspects of it, great tool, but they really kind of just did some self-assessment, said, we just kind of need it simple. It's kind of how we work. So can we go back? And they wanted to use Project for the Web just to give them that simple interface there. Actions, we can actually catalog some actions, things we need to take to kind of get ahead of these issues and risks. We can catalog those here, rank them in priority. We can look at assumptions, maybe assumptions we made, maybe around equipment pricing, that, hey, pricing won't change by more than 5% in the 2 years that we do this project. We made some other things around vendor lead time that we need to go look at. We can keep a catalog of decisions as well. And then there's several others as well. We've got things like insights, project change requests, budget, and we even have some hidden over here. So really, it's up to you about how many of these you light up. Our coaching is always start small, start what brings you value, and then add these other ones as your process demands it, or as maybe some of your governance demands it if you're in one of those highly regulated industries. So let's go talk about, okay, that's all great, Scott. We got all this stuff. My project team can manage in this. Let's talk about reporting. How can we report out on that? So we'll look at reports here real quick. I'm going to go to this tab. I think I have that already open. Yes, I do. So this is our portfolio report set. When we deliver this solution, we deliver it with a set of reports, anywhere from about 5 to 15. You can do some really clever things here. Here's a view of your request dashboard. Nice to have that list in the tab. Hey, wouldn't it be nice to have like a prioritization matrix and pivot the data? So you can see we've done that in the top right where we've pivoted the prioritization against the score, and we can actually go, oh, what's that one up there? We might want to make sure we get that one done. And we can see that's the Power Platform project. We can look at our financials by program. We can see the budget, the amount of project budget we have allocated so far, what's remaining. I can look at program health and get a sense of kind of where we're at with a program there as well. Program time, portfolio timeline. I like this view. Project Desktop and Project Online rolled out the timeline view. There's actually a feature called Project Roadmap, kind of gives you that timeline view. And this is pretty powerful in that there is a great way just to kind of see, hey, what all we have in flight and how close are we being done and who's managing it. Really simple report, but it's pretty powerful. It just tells a lot. And you can just kind of see it sorted, color coded by project manager. Okay, these haven't started. And you can just kind of get a very high level view. Portfolio health view. This is one where you just kind of get an idea of, are we on track or not? Where are we in danger of kind of running off the rails with regard to this portfolio? This one's really great in that it's, one, it's colorful. I like colors, and who doesn't like colors? But two, it really gives you kind of a good idea of kind of, hey, we're getting a little, things are getting a little wobbly here. We're in danger, especially if you look at these top three, and you've got our Bay Plaza one here. We've got several overdue tasks, several late tasks, and these top 3, 4, 5 projects are kind of in danger. We also get an idea of the effort associated with the project, and a quick note on that. If you remember when I was in Project for the Web and I was building out the resources and the number of days, Project for the Web will assume a day is 8 hours, and then it'll, when you add the percent complete, it's just going to iterate that by the amount of effort. So 50% complete for that day. If it's a one-day task, that's going to be 4 hours. And so that's how it's calculating that. And then you get an idea of just count by project manager. Hey, what's kind of going on inside the portfolio? We can also look at portfolio financials, gives you a view from a portfolio standpoint. And then another one is risk portfolio milestones. We talk to a lot of customers that manage their portfolio at a milestone level, just because it's like there's some key things need to happen in these projects, and I need to make sure I'm moving toward that to where those happen well, because that may be a billing event, that may be a situation where we're moving into a new phase, that type of thing. So this is a great way to kind of keep track of that. And then the risk dashboard is another one where, again, when I showed you the form for risk, we were adding that all in. That facilitates us being able to report out on it. And so you can get a heat map of the risk. Whoop, let's try that again. Help me out there. Come on, there we go. So you can get an idea of kind of where the risks are that maybe we're in danger of getting in trouble, and just kind of get an idea how to prioritize your time, and you can get account by program. So that's the reporting. So you've seen kind of how we aggregate. We're doing program portfolio management using a Power App to kind of surround the Project for the Web applications, take the data out of that, and then report out at a portfolio and program view, and allow you to get actionable data. The great thing about this is you're not scrambling around anymore. Forrester did a report going on 13 years now, where they just talked about the power of a centralized PPM solution. And the biggest thing is your project managers aren't, oh my gosh, I got to report out on Monday. I'm going to block my calendar for Thursday and Friday and grab all this out of email, a napkin over lunch and all that, and bring it together and format it so I can show it. You can just kind of work in the tool and leave the swivel chair world, as that one customer said, and just know that your data's update, do a quick check. I think we're good. We can let that go, and we can publish that out to the executive team. So there's a lot going on there. We talked about ease of use. We did talk about creativity around Power Apps. So I want to show you that real quick. One of the things you can do is you can like, hey, that's a lot to do. Even though you said this was simple, there's a lot going on here. That's going to take my team kind of some time to ramp up. We heard that, and Power Apps doesn't have to do everything around process, program management. It can do things, or workflows. It can do things like training. So what we've built is a little training accelerator app. This is for our own, and really what it allows you to do is sort of a self-guided application that just walks your users through on how to go to a program, how to add a new program, how to see the financials and walk you through that. If I want to do something around projects, how do I go navigate through that? Just guide you through it. Again, super simple. Would it be great to fly ProjectMade Easy and Scott and Gaurav and the team in? And we'd love to come do that for you. but you may not need that. You may just want to just roll this app out and see how it goes, and then you can kind of train for the exception. So again, something really, really minor, but it's something that could be powerful, impactful too. And again, keep it simple and kind of go from there. Okay, let's talk about teams. You know, Sean mentioned teams. We talked about collaboration in teams. We can certainly do that. Here's the chat from the session today, and we'll get to those questions shortly. But here is the accelerator in Teams. You can have the accelerator at maybe a PMO level, which is what we're showing here. You can also have that inside of an actual project. Over here, I've actually got just a project sitting in here. I think I've got it in here. Let's see. There we go. That's the reporting. So I've actually got a project just sitting in here. So this might be an example of a project team that's being used just to go ahead and manage a project. So there you can kind of see that there. So you get the same view inside. So individual project, or you could do it at more of a high-level view from the standpoint you can collaborate around that. You can manage your files around that, around this particular project if you'd like. And then you can also leverage the accelerator, interact with that as well. If you need a bigger view, you can certainly extend it, kind of collapse it that way. Look at those items in the accelerator. I can consume my reporting as well inside of here if I want. Again, you could narrow that down to just the reports associated with your particular project, or you could do it for the entire portfolio. Really, sky's the limit on how you do that. And then, of course, the Idea Hub. If you want to just kind of keep an eye on that and kind of how things are looking, you can make that available too. But there's some good interaction there with Teams. Okay, well, hopefully that made a lot of sense. We've got about 5 minutes left. It looks like we've got some questions coming over. So just real quick, we saw project and Power Platform working. Saw the basics of project management and document management. We saw how we could extend that into look at initiation, governance, business case development, prioritization, and dashboards. Some of the highlights, we talked about the initiation page using what we call our Idea Hub, a real simple Power app that allows you to kind of create some workflow and some governance around new project initiation. We looked at project for the web, the simplicity of it, the different views associated with it. We looked at the power of reporting, just if all the data is in one place, and now I can create dashboards that really kind of help, going back to the vision Sean talked about. And then lastly, we talked about the training app, just some creative way to kind of use Power Apps in a different way that maybe you hadn't thought of. Lastly, you manage your work with confidence. Remember, this is all in the Microsoft cloud. You've got the benefit of the data centers and the uptime, financially backed uptime. Microsoft has very good and very flexible licensing associated with these plans, and from review only to highly interactive with the tool. And then you've got the security of the Microsoft 365 groups as well. So with that, I'm going to take some time for questions. I see a few questions here. We talked about the limit of the task. I did address that. And we talked about the other dependencies. Those are roadmap items. I see a note here, Power Apps doesn't link with MS Project, only works with Planner. It works with Project for the web. It also works with Project Online. And it also can work with Planner. We've done all three. We've actually done combinations where we've connected Planner to Project Online. We've had one customer say, boy, I really want to go do all that. They wanted the perfect solution 10 minutes from now. They realized, hey, the nature of work, kind of the nature of what we're doing, we really could use a good solution right now. And so we were able to link Planner and have Planner update their project in Project Online. So yeah, you can do that as well. So yeah, those are some other items that we can talk to. And I don't know if we have any other. If you have any other questions, throw those in chat. And if you think about it, even after we adjourn, we'll try to get a list of some of these questions out and kind of highlight them as well as we go through the session. Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate you making the time today. Just a little bit more about project before we wrap up. We'll include this in a thank you email to everybody. But if you want to go check out more about project, it's aka.ms/Microsoft Project. visit the website. Give you a lot of good details about the different plans we talked about. If you want to try Project for free, that's also aka.ms, try Project now. You can download it for a free trial and just kind of get started. That's the beauty of Project for the Web. You can just start kicking the tires right away and really see how it's going to work for you. And then if you need any other help or support, obviously, please reach out to us. We'd gladly just have a conversation with you. But also, Microsoft has tons of support out there on the web at support.microsoft.com/project. Connect with you. My name's Scott Brown. I'm the business development director at ProjectMade Easy. Love to just connect with you on LinkedIn. You can also use that QR code to connect with me. Just look for Scott Brown at ProjectMade Easy if you don't get a chance to do that, but love to connect with you. Just have a conversation to kind of what you're looking at. We love just kind of coming alongside customers and just resourcing them and just kind of helping them navigate that world. There's a lot of cool tools out there. There's a lot of tools in the Microsoft stack, and just kind of coaching you on what might be the best fit for kind of what type of projects you're trying to do and you're trying to manage, to what is your organization culture like, what is the level of governance you've got, that type of thing. We love to have that conversation with you. All right, it is 2 o'clock in Central Time in Chicago. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you again for making the time. I'd like to thank Microsoft for inviting us to participate in this program. Especially like to thank Sean Kim for being a part of this and sharing his insights and the vision for Microsoft Project and Power Apps. And with that, we will send out an email with the deck and some of the questions and the resources we had in the presentation. But thank you all and have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.